Hi there.
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. It's sunny here.
I know. Look, it's sunny here. It's not very often it's sunny where we both are.
I know. That's
So,
true. Speaking of which, where are you?
well, I'm just here. So, yes, but I just have to sneak in really fast and then we'll do what we're supposed to do. By the time this episode drops, it'll be really sunny where I am because I'll be in Vero Beach. So, I'm
Really
super
forgot
excited.
about that. Uh,
Anyway, I'm Melissa McLeod. I'm here at the Wool and the Floss in just outside Detroit, Michigan, Grosse Pointe, Michigan. And the sun is out here today, which is really nice. My dogs are with me, so forgive the barking. And along with you.
oh, so I'm Megan Holmes, and I'm here in sunny St. Louis, Missouri, at the Needlepoint Clubhouse, otherwise known as STL Needlepoint on social media. So here I am.
Together, we're the Pointing It Out team, and we bumble through this every week and do a decent job most of the time. And whatever.
Well, as I always say, I'm having a great time, and I don't know if anybody else is, but I have fun. So
I know. This is
that's all that matters.
yeah. But we thought this week we would talk about, we've talked a little bit since January about our 21 and 21 challenge. And I love, love, love a checklist. As a matter of fact, here's my list, and there's some checks marks over there. I meant to get like a big black pen, but I'm kind of a pencil kind of gal. So I just have little pencil marks. But
Do you have
we thought
commitment
about,
issues, Melissa?
I'm sorry,
Do you have commitment issues?
maybe. Don't tell my husband, okay? Well, I've been married for 29 years. So I guess, anyway. Yeah. So,
So I'm just excited because we are almost getting into March and we finally said, hey, wait a minute. Remember that 21 and 21 challenge we were supposed to be getting everybody really excited about? So here
well,
we are. We're doing it, but we haven't
yeah,
told
I've had a
anybody.
lot of people talking to me about it. We did put it in my newsletter because I'm fortunate to have someone who writes my newsletter for me. And she said, how about I put this in the newsletter? And I said, that would be great. So, yeah, so I've had some local people talking to me about it and some people far away too. And they're really excited about it. But I've been working on my list and I think you've been working on your list. And we thought it'd be fun to just talk about where we're at. Maybe we'll do this like once a quarter or so. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about the prizes. We haven't really talked about the prizes yet. So
And what's funny is I'm so excited to give away this prize, and yet we haven't told anybody.
I know, I know.
We need to motivate everyone.
So if you want to find out about the prizes, you got to stay till the end.
That's right.
And we'll talk about how to win the prizes, and it's really quite easy. So, anyway, oops, sorry, my dog just surprised me and came up to me, and I forgot she was here. Um, so one of the first things that you and I very easily checked off our list is I don't know which item it is on here. It's the second item on the list, the stitch with a bestie. So I think we've talked about it a little bit before that both of our husbands tend to go to bed early. They're early to bed, early to rise. And we have both turned into night owls. And most Saturday nights rather than not, we stitch together from like 10 p.m. until, yeah, I was a waste on Sunday because I stayed up with you until 2 a.m., I believe.
And what is beneficial to me is that I'm an hour earlier. And so, but also what's a pain to Melissa is my kids are always bugging me till like at least 8 and sometimes later. And anyway, so it gets to be late. But what's fun is we just like kind of quickly say like, hey, you want to FaceTime? And it's not, I guess the point is it doesn't have to be like scheduled or a weekly thing or anything. It's just like grab a buddy and stitch. And Melissa and I do it a lot, but I don't have a lot of other friends like from my circle of like college and high school friends that stitch. So we stitch together on Saturday nights because there's nothing else to do. So
Well,
anyway,
the funny thing this past Saturday is your kids were bugging you for a little while and they finally went to bed. And then at 11:30, my dog started barking at me because my dog wanted to go to bed and I
that
was
was
up to
hilarious.
it.
That was hilarious, I have to say. But it actually kind of made me feel good because I was like, gosh, for once, I'm not the one that's like my side. My family isn't disrupting things. It's Melissa's.
So I had to relocate my stitching, which when you're on FaceTime, you just pick up your stitching on your phone and away you go. So
It worked out great.
yeah, so the stitch with the bestie, I guess my point in mentioning all that is I don't want people to think that we're like, get together with all your friends and sit on top of each other and don't wear masks. Like we're both super COVID conservative, and there's lots of fun ways to stitch with your bestie without.
There is, but you know what we didn't do, because we're going to get to this in a little while, but we need photo evidence that this actually happened,
Because
because
if you
the
don't
prizes
take a
we-
picture, it doesn't happen, right?
That's right. So what we're hoping, and we'll get to it at the end, but you're going to have to take a quick screenshot of that FaceTime or a quick selfie of if you're sitting at a park or whatever you're doing, but we need photo evidence. So we did not do that, but since we stitch almost every Saturday, we'll be able to do
We'll
that
have other
by the end of the year.
for sure. And we will talk about more detail, but if I did start hashtagging some of my things, because the next thing that we talk about, I can't even show the general people here and now, is that I got out and stitched a counted piece. And that is the very last item on the list. And the reason I can't show you all is because I stitched it in about 2 days. And I was really inspired after I interviewed and chatted with Abigail Cecile here. And she was so great. And she is really generous with her time and her talents. And if you were on her mailing list for her email, you got this free chart for this joy canvas. And after I talked to her, I was so excited to stitch it. And your finisher.
That's why I'm giggling, because I was wondering if you were going to spill the beans that you sent it to me for finishing.
I did, because your finisher did such a great job. And I'm not sure which customer it was that was her version of it.
Tracy Kane. Yep.
So hers was so darling, that little, and if those of you who watch our social media pages, go back and look at STL needlepoint. And there's this, couldn't be cuter. It says joy. It's like a little counted piece. Abigail Cecile's version was in green and pink. And your stitcher changed it to red and green. And I don't know if you picked it or your finisher picked it, but that plaid taffeta into a little plaid taffeta pillow that hangs. And it's just so cute. So when I saw it, I said to Megan, I want mine just like that. Do you still have the fabric? Do you still have the trim?
And so to answer your original question, I've talked about this before, but we work in collaboration, our finishers, a lot of the time. That particular stitcher though loves plaid, loves gingham. And so I can't remember if she actually said, this is what I want, or we said it together, but anyhow, it turned out darling. And yes, it is in. And what's funny is Melissa said, hey, can you grab that piece so we can show it at the podcast? And I was like, already at the finisher. And she should have said, good job as the customer. Good to know it's already in progress, right?
So I'm really excited about it. So if any of you have never done a counted piece, they can be a little intimidating, I think, but they're really, really easy. Like the hardest part, honestly, is the first step of every counted piece is to find the center of your canvas. And I have a couple of other samples here. I like to do counted pieces on beige canvas. I don't know if your preference is beige or white, but beige tends to peek through less since it's not painted. And if you need to find the center before you put it on a frame,
yeah,
all
sure.
you have to do, it's foldable. There's the center right there. So you can work that with I usually put a little piece of thread through it with a needle, unfold it and put it on your frame. And then you automatically know where your center is. And that's honestly the hardest part.
So the counted pieces that I am most familiar with and that are wonderful that we carry are by Kathy Reese. There are several different artists out there who focus primarily on counted pieces. So it's funny that both you and I have chosen needlepoint designers who have charted pieces, because there are, typically stitch painted needlepoint designers who have done charted pieces. But we actually carry some of the pieces from some of the designers who are, I would say, primarily or almost wholly counted piece writers.
Yes.
And so we're actually we're going to talk more about that in another podcast. But yeah, so I'm sorry, did you have something else to say? So what you were going to say, I know what I was going to say. I'm sorry, I just thought of what I was going to say. So those designers actually suggest the color of canvas. So they'll say like, start with the red, start with blue, because you can get canvas in a lot of different colors. Right. And so those oftentimes dictate it. But these charts that you were talking about, like those from Abigail Cecile and some of the others who did the charts for charity. Cute. Yes.
So
Hook
these
and
are
Harbor.
both carts for charity. And so that's a hashtag on Instagram for anyone who's not familiar with this. And a big group of designers, I want to say like 20, maybe even more than that, in January decided that there's all these new stitchers, especially for somebody who's just starting the hobby, doesn't want to invest a whole lot until they know that this is like their thing. These charged for charity, I think I paid $20 for both of these, and all the proceeds go to different charities. Each designer could pick their own. So I think in these generally they say use white canvas, but I just happen to prefer beige because if you don't have as much of a halo effect if you
Well,
have.
and what you're talking about, these are full coverage. And in some that I'm referencing, it's meant to have open canvas.
Yeah.
So that's kind of part of the design.
Yeah, because I don't feel like these are like classic counted pieces. A lot of times classic counted pieces are more about the stitch combination. Like there are a lot of Jessicas and
And using a lot of overdyed threads that marry well with what you were just saying, which is the stitches. So yeah.
right. So, but these are just like little ornaments. So I mean, there's a ton of these in undercharts for charity that are very inexpensive. Proceeds go to a good cause. So it's a really nice way to start a counted piece rather than like some of the Kathy Reese pieces. At least the one that I own is huge. I know they make some smaller pieces that you carry. I've done a number of Laura Perrin. She also does some beautiful counted pieces.
I was just her name. Yes.
Yeah. So as shop owners, we can order those designs for you if you choose to do that. But these little ones I just think are a really great place to start. And I think I've talked about this before. For years, have always done a counted piece every year because I feel like it just works a different side of your brain. Like you were telling me the other day that you've decided to start doing crossword puzzles.
Well, I have been doing crossword puzzles, but I haven't told people about it.
Well, I'm outing you right now. So I think my
It's my
response
reading glasses, my crossword puzzle, and my needlepoint. I am just.
well, I think what was my response to you saying you did the crossword puzzle? I think I went, like my mother has done the crossword puzzle every day of her life, and she's smart as a whip. So I just like crossword puzzles that it's just not my gig. But to me, this is my version of the crossword puzzle. Like you're starting from nothing. You're following a chart. You're taking this puzzle and you're turning it into something that's complete at the end.
Yeah,
right?
and just so everyone doesn't think I'm a slacker and just over here doing crossword puzzles, I have chosen my counted piece.
Yes,
I actually, and not to beat the drum of Abigail Cecile, but I didn't actually intentionally choose the same artist as Melissa, but I was inspired by, speaking of using different parts of your creative brain, I follow a lot of interior designers on Instagram. I find a lot of inspiration, and I think interior designers are so good at pattern play and color marriage. And I learn a lot from watching how they put these things together. So I follow this interior designer, and I might hack job it, but I can post it later. It's Sheffield Interiors, I think. And she actually stitched one of the Abigail Cecile pieces, and I loved the way she styled it so much in her home that I was like, that is my one. It's the Abigail Cecile. I'm doing it to myself again. Chinoiserie, chinoiserie
of course.
piece that I love so much, but I can't say. So anyway, and it's all monogram letters, or like you choose the letter, but so I've downloaded all of the charts and I love them. So I'm excited to do them. But
you don't have it with you.
Do you want to know something? I have it right here, but with an old picture of my family. They are all, what's beautiful about this is that I have it right here in the file in my phone. They are downloadable. And so Abigail sends you these really pretty, this whole thing is just beautifully done. And again, I feel bad that we're on this like Abigail Cecile bandwagon. I'm sure she loves it, but anyway, so it's beautifully done and charted, and it's all right here on my phone. And there are several different designs once you pay for the charted.
And I have those, and excuse me for 1 second, because I just have to grab it.
We've got a runner again here.
Chart.
Anyway, I think this is the one I'm going to do, which is the pagoda piece with the H for my last name.
How pretty would it be in this little antique?
Oh, really pretty. So this I picture being square because that's, again, how I was inspired.
Mine are more circular.
But just wait. So then if you buy this one piece, like to me, that lends itself to more of a circular,
yeah,
like the round. And then seems like there's more than this one. Now,
I have a similar one to that, but it's colorful.
The part that I haven't gotten to yet, because, I love to fly by the seat of my pants. I don't know whether these are for 18. Oh, she comes in different counts or mesh sizes, typical, blah, blah, blah.
It just depends how big it is, right?
It depends on how big I want it to be. So back to the point of that round self finish, it all just depends on which size mesh. And
So are you telling me that if you did it that square one on 13 mesh, that it'd look really good in a Betsy box?
I don't know because I haven't counted how wide it is, but
I bet you any money it would be perfect.
there's a very good chance.
I had a customer come in today and she's like, you've talked about those darn Betsy boxes so much. I just have to find something that goes in.
Can I see what it looks like? Yeah, exactly. So funny.
So anyway, so I think that'll be really, really fun. And you've reminded me, I forgot I do have that monogram as well. So
cool. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think actually I went down a rabbit hole and I like to go big or go home. So I do believe that I actually paid for at least 2 or 3 of Abigail Cecile's charted downloads because I thought they were so pretty.
Well, and the other thing is after we've been used to paying for hand painted canvases.
Oh, charted pieces feel very inexpensive. Yeah, and it'll also be fun to pick the threads and yeah. So
well, and I think anytime like you need if you need a quickie gift, you can stitch up one of those kind of pieces so fast and buy a self-finishing piece and you are good to go. You know what? That blue square one that I'm not even going to say the CH word because I thought of every time. You need to put that in one of the square jewelry boxes from Planet Earth.
Oh yeah, I could do it in Claire because now that I have the entire alphabet, I could do it for my daughter. That would be really fun. Yeah, good idea. But I have to keep working. I might just have to do one because I have a lot of work to do for my 21 and 21 here. So
I think next we were going to talk about something that we've both completed, right? Which was completed, meaning we finished a work in progress.
I'm very proud of mine.
Which I think we need to call it a finished object because on my little bags I have in the shop, it says goal FO and people always think it means a naughty word. No, it means your goal is to have a finished object. It is not me telling you something that I don't want you to come back in my shop again. So
yes, but we do want to have finished objects. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So let's see yours.
Well, so mine, I'm a little embarrassed because yours is rather large. This
but you know how long I've been working on it, so
this darling piece has been in my stash for quite a while. I think I started it in November of 2019, and I shouldn't say I know I did because I keep my little lists that you make fun of me for. So I started this in November of 2019, and I just couldn't get it done. And what I think everyone needs to give themselves some grace. For the most part, I think something that has been a work in progress for you for quite a while, it's usually a work in progress for a reason. Like it's either because you're trying to do a stitch because that's what the stitch guide says to do and you really don't like the stitch. Or in this case, the background's Nobuko and it's really pretty, but Nobuko
black.
It's not quite black. It's just super, super, super dark navy. And having to compensate around all of these things. And of course, in order to do the background well, I am a big
should have done it all first, right?
Which I did. I was really smart about that. I started working on some things in him because he didn't interrupt it, but it was really all about the dark thing. And what I should have just made myself do instead of putting it away and just saying that thing's driving me crazy and putting it away, I should have left it out and just made myself, every time I sat down to stitch, just stitch 1 or 2 needles worth.
Sure.
And it would have been done in no time, but instead it, and when your eyes are fresh, that dark color is easier. And
when you haven't already poured your wine like I do when I stitch.
And that's true too. Yes. So yeah. So and I love it. I think he's so darling, and I'm so glad to put him in the finished category. But I think a lot of times it's either, like I said, the stitch or the color, or
I have another reason why. If you have starteritis and you just continue to like to start things and never get back to the finishing
charge. The other thing I think, though, honestly, is things end up you stitch it, that you need to tear something out, and none of us like to tear things out, so we put it in the closet because we don't want to tear it out.
Yeah, so that didn't actually. So this is my
So
finished,
awesome.
uh, object, FO. Um, and when we were talking about this and you said, well, there has to be a reason why you didn't finish it. I think I honestly couldn't quite put my finger on it. I think part of the problem is that I got super excited about the details because I just remembered my honest to goodness reason for picking. First of all, I love the Mary Poppins movie. I love that this is a nod to Mary Poppins. But I really wanted to try, it was right. I hadn't tried Silk Road Fiber. I mean, this is old tape. I think I've had this for 4 years. I hadn't tried Silk Road Fiber, and that's what all this is in here. And so I think I just wanted to try it so badly. So I just went ahead and did that. And that was a terrible idea because then I had to kind of work around like in here. And it was just a bad idea to already have that in there. So then I had to take a bunch of it out, as you said, so
Yeah.
that I could properly do the background. And yeah, so I think I just didn't make good choices at the beginning. I was just super excited about it. But and believe it or not, this black hat, which turned out, in my opinion, really good, wasn't the beast of it because it was black, but with this variegated Gloriana that I used and the stitch I chose, it wasn't all that. That's not what helped me up, believe it or not. But anyway.
But I think you make a valid point. When you've got those dark colors that seem like such a stumbling block, if you pick a color just a little bit off from it, it actually makes it easier. You know, people on a counted piece, like for instance, someone said, "Oh, I can't do a black background." I go, "Black on white is so easy."
Easy. Yep.
It's just
White on white is almost the same as
yeah.
black on black, really. So
But a dark color on white, or even in like you're talking about navy on black or black on navy, you can
yep.
still much more easily see what's going on. So I
So
think
now, how do I get myself off the hump? You've sent yours to me for finishing, and mine's still sitting here. I've probably had it done a month, and I need to get the stinking thing to the framer. So I just have to go. I got to get there.
what time's the framer open until?
Oh, I don't know, but you're going to tell me to go tonight and
I sure am.
have enough
No
brain
time like
power
the
to-
present.
Yes, but I mean, once you finish something, I mean, I'm still, even though I have all this needlepoint to my disposal, like that's a finished. I really want to be thoughtful about the mat and the framing and where's it going to go, and so I think so. At least it's done, and that's the hard part. So
There you go. Good job. Good job.
so finished. So that was is that number 3 that so we both are
That's our
talking
third
about?
item. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And so you may have mentioned the word starteritis now. So Liz and I've talked about Liz before. She's my yarn manager here. And if you watch any of our social media, she's on every Tuesday morning. And she also stitches quite a bit. And she and I literally, I had the dogs on the leashes because the dogs come in with me after the shop closes. This was Friday night. Yeah, Friday night. Dogs on the leashes. We both had our coats on. It's Friday night. It's 7:30. We're literally about to walk out the door. And I said, I really feel like stitching a key fob. And she's like, what?
Okay. Grab one.
So I pulled out, oops, speaking of the dogs, here they are. I pulled out this little key fob and it's almost done now. So and speaking of chinoiserie, did I say it right? I might have almost said it right.
Sounds good.
So yeah, I picked this out because it's a key fob in general is going to be mainly tent stitch. So I just stitched away and Liz stood there and she's like the color queen. She's like, I said, I think I want pink for the background. So she had to pick the perfect shades for me. And I was more than happy to have someone else do the work. And yeah, I think when Maisie started barking at us at 11:30, this was really easy to take up to my bed with me. And there's the Maisie. So yeah, so
and I will just point out, speaking of the color queen, she did a beautiful job, and that is the Pepper Pot Parfait. Pepper Pot Parfait. That parfait is like second to none in icy, beautiful, soft pinks. It's got just a smidge of the blue purple, just enough to make it look gorgeous. It's cool, really a cool, pretty color. Anyway.
Well, and as you know, I was a little late to the party. I had to really work to make room for Pepper Pot in my shop because I've had Vineyard Silk. So I'm like, why do I need Pepper Pot? I've had Vineyard Silk. I can't get rid of Vineyard Silk. Everyone loves Vineyard Silk.
I agree with you, and I know where you were at, but the colors are different.
Well, and the stitch definition in this is so good. I mean, I'm sorry, like I look like the world's best stitcher right here, and I'm really not that good.
Well, I would beg to differ on that.
Attention, considering I don't have it on a frame, it's like amazing. I mean,
Pepper Pot's wonderful.
I'm thrilled with my Pepper Pot line now in full in the house, and I'm so sorry.
I can't even hear them. But tell me, I want to know which blues, because there are so many blues. Can you
Oh,
share with us which two blues? Because
we went round and round on the blues as we were sweating in our coats and the dogs on the
there's
leashes.
two navies. There's two navies. One's a little darker than the other.
So this one is, let me see, Patriot.
And is that the navy? That's the navy
The
one?
navy is Patriot. And the lighter blue, here's the lighter blue, is Porcelain.
Yes, those are good ones. Porcelain is a little truer blue. Some of the blues go a little dusty when you put them with a navy or with and that one is a really nice clean blue. So yeah, good choices.
Yeah,
So
so it's really fun. I'm going to send it off to my leather fob finisher, and I'm going to have navy blue leather put on it. I'm just so
oh, you know what? I'm kind of wearing the
you match my key fob.
light pink in my blues. Look at that. Maybe you need to give it to me.
You never know.
So I'm back to this guy. This is I think I've shared my hidden dark secret where I do the roll it up. There is nothing more than I love than grabbing this, like in the car, or I don't know, I even take it to a restaurant sometimes, or not now really, but just a little thing. I have this little corner and I just do this little basket weave all crunched up, and I love it. And I'm getting there. I'm probably about halfway done. Not halfway done, but maybe with the background. Anyway, so this is just my, there is nothing more than, 18 count mesh with pepper pot is a fabulous, what did we call it? Sit back and tent or something, or what?
Yeah.
Kick back and tent stitch, whatever. That's a great combination, but
relax and unwind with a tent.
With a tent. So but there is almost nothing better in tent stitch than silk and ivory in 13 count. True. It's just so luxurious.
You can see that lovely silk and ivory wall behind me. It's one of our favorites.
And you can see it well because it's big holes. And to me, this is the most relaxing way to do tent, because you can it's easy to see and you can just kind of halfway pay attention. Right. But that's my relax and wind with a tent.
Yes. So yeah, I probably had something at home I could have started on, but that
was no fun.
Do it.
But now, and we will point out that I think that there's something on there that says, buy yourself something new, but you can't tent stitch something and buy yourself something new in the same 21 and 21.
Because it's 21 challenges. So you have to have 21 things, or, what's the point? No one likes a cheater.
I don't think you probably have to finish. The work in progress you have to finish. True. But you don't have to, I don't have to have this done I just have to prove that I was stitching basket weave on it, right?
Yeah. I think it's just supposed to keep us rolling.
The jury's out. Okay. All right.
Now, I don't know if the goal here is to finish 21 projects. It'd be nice.
That's not my goal, but no. Everyone is different.
I think when we set out with this, our goal was to create some challenges that would keep it interesting to keep stitching, and not all of them necessarily requiring you to outlay a bunch of cash.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on to, do we have one more thing to address in this?
Well, we had two more things we're talking about. So the next thing was, a lot of people have asked me about this. They're like, what's a mystery kit? And I guess this is segues really nicely from what we were just saying. Oh my God, my dog just ran off the packaging.
Your mystery kit?
No, she has all this packaging. I'm so sorry. Anyway.
Fine, you needed to pour yourself. It's happy hour. You needed to do yourself.
Maisie, no. I'm just going to have to try to ignore it. It's like when your kids are here. So, mystery.
You want me to take over here? So,
yes. Mystery kit. Define what the mystery kit is. Let me just get this from my dog. Will you define what the mystery kit is and the different ways you can go about it?
So mystery kit, we determined it would be super fun to take a canvas, you could buy a new canvas if you wanted to, or what we were thinking is pulling something out that you had that's just been sitting there and let somebody else decide on the threads for you. So, and not necessarily the stitches, just the threads. So
and the threads can be from your own stash. It can be from their stash. It can be from a shop, right? There's any variety.
Send me a canvas and say, Megan, I want you to mystery kit my canvas from your shop. You can say, you have a canvas on your wall, I want you to mystery kit. You can say, hey mom, can I go to your house because I have my friend's canvas that I want a mystery kit out of your stash? You can, it doesn't matter as long as you, the
The stitch.
stitcher, don't choose the threads. Is
And
that
I
what you're
think,
saying?
and I think that's why, and I think this came up for two reasons. First of all, I know you guys are doing this all the time too. Like we are kitting things for people all the
All the
time.
time.
And
Mhm.
so Liz and Holly are here with me today, and we joke around all the time, like, wouldn't this be the best thing in the world to have somebody else kit your canvas for you? Because what a fabulous, I mean, hopefully people think it's a fabulous surprise when they open their packages from our shops. But
Mhm.
like, how fun would that be to open up and be like, oh, I never would have thought of picking that. Like, because we all fall into our own ruts of like, well, I only stitch with silk and ivory, or I only stitch with planet or silk, or whatever your only is. It keeps
Exactly.
your stitching life a lot more interesting if you're
Well,
stitching.
and I also think that I have a, okay, I don't want to sound like I'm being arrogant because I'm not. I have pretty good color sense. Like I can literally look at something and say, oh, I know a Kreinik that will match that, or I know like I can see, I know colors, I can see colors pretty well. But I think everybody has a different concept of the way colors marry. So like Diane here in the shop always goes just a little darker. Like if something's brown, she just goes a little browner, and I'd go a little more gold. Like it's just because it's my own personal preference. So again, it's, and I don't, I mean, it's not good or bad either way. It's just what you see and what you like. And so it to me, it will be fun to see what somebody else, i.e. you, decide for me as far as like what you see and what, when you look at it, like, oh, I want to see this texture or, you know, whatever. So
Right. Yeah, so we have decided that we both picked canvases out of our stashes because, there's a little bit of stash at my house. So I dug through the stash and had a couple of things. And I said to you, well, I could send you either A or B. And you got really excited about the B. So, which is not a B actually. Uh, God knows it could have been a B, but in this case, it was B period. And so in my stash, have these darling little Associated Talents carrots, and they all coordinate. So they're kind of all the same colors, and there's 5 of them. And I've had them in my stash. I can tell you in a second how long I've had them in my stash. I'm kind of embarrassed. There we go. See, this one has the price tag from my old owner from here,
oh God,
from 2015.
that's not too bad. I was thinking it was going to go back further than that.
For 6 years. So I have been dying to stitch these, and they're not very big. They're not going to take very long to stitch, but I think just the motivation of having like somebody else do the work for me, right?
Yeah, pulling all the, yeah, and then receiving a kit in the mail. So when
No,
you said that, I said, oh, then that gives me license to send you 2 that kind of go together. So I'm going to send you Claire and Ward, I
I
call them.
can't wait. So cute.
I mean, aren't these guys? They, I think it was this one. Well, let me think about this. One of them was in my one. We had the Mile High Princess trunk show a while back, and I said, oh, "That looks just like my little guy with the little blondie hair." And then we were at market, and well, so how long ago was this? I've had these for plenty of years too. And Julie was with me, and she goes, "You have to get Claire to match," and because they had the 2. So anyway, my idea is to put these. I want them each to have a little basket with all their winter garbage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hats and coats and gloves and blah, 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 hanging off these little baskets. So I'm going to make these kind of like little kind of showpieces someday. But anyway, so I am so excited.
So you'll have to tell me how much background you need. That's
I
something.
was just thinking that, like, is that something I tell you? Or
Yeah,
do
you can't drive the train too much, but you can tell me how much background you need.
and, or, I mean, shadow stitched, I guess, shaped shadow stitching is probably what I do. Anyway, your guys are, they are what they are. So we can talk about this later, but yes, I'm excited. These are going to come in the mail to you. And yeah, so
Okay, well, I've got something to mail Eileen. I just remembered. I already have a package packed up for her, so maybe I'll put these in with Eileen's or put Eileen's in
all
with.
right, so coming soon, and then we can reveal our mystery. Maybe we could, maybe they should stay sealed until we get online and show everybody what they look like.
I don't know if I can do that. Well, maybe we can't. We're not going to wait like 3 more months, right?
Well, I don't know. Or we could just do it like a live thing where we open each other's things.
Okay, that sounds good. I can't wait 3 months because I want to get stitching on them. I love to stitch in season. We've talked about this before, and they're
Oh,
Easter.
well, I'm about, I hope I'm rounding out the winter season, but yes, I'm excited about those too. So
Cute, cute, cute.
And then what happens? What if I'm like, oh, why'd you pick entice?
Well, the good news is normally, like, let's back this up
I'm
as
just
shop
kidding.
owners. When
By the
people
way,
call
love
us,
you, Rainbow Gallery. Just kidding.
when and I love Entice, by the way. But when people call us, we will say, what do you love and what do you hate? And
So
you
I
and
can,
I talk stitching so much, I don't have to, we don't have to ask each other that.
fair.
So yeah, there's really only one thread that like would throw in the trash can, and we've talked about it before, and I don't think you carry it.
I
So
don't carry it. And there's only one that you carry that I want to love, but I just need to try harder. I'll tell you what that is later.
yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that. Okay, so I think our last item kind of feeds into a little like sneak peek into next
Oh,
week.
yes. I couldn't remember what the last thing was, but yes.
So we will have an professional organizer on next week's episode. And I was really excited to talk to her, and it got me super motivated. Just like thinking about talking to her. So I got out and I organized my threads once a year or so, like because I have a system. And so
So when
once
you say organize your threads, what you're talking about is like, you just have like bits and parts from projects that you finish, and then you just kind of like throw them wherever you throw them before you actually put them back where they belong. So you
correct.
kind of already have a system.
I've built the system. So once a year or so, I have to do the work to maintain the system. And, ideally, every time I finished a project, I'd sit down and put all my threads back where they belong. But that's not the world I live in. So instead, I have a little Lululemon bag in my closet that when I'm done with the project, the little Flossway bags
Thrown
of
in.
threads get thrown in there. And once or
I even
twice.
feel like that's organized. Mine are kind of like everywhere.
Well, I do try to keep them all in one spot. I've taken over a closet in my house. I'm so envious of these people that have an entire room.
Ugh.
And that's one of our things is to organize your stitching space. So we'll talk about that another time. But I did get through organizing my threads, and it was really fun. I found a few very interesting items. I found 3 needle minders that were mixed into the bag. I found a best laying tool, which I was just about to repurchase because I thought it was just gone forever. And I found a little something else, but I'll wait and reveal that in our next episode.
So I'll be honest, with organizing threads, I'm going to have a hard time proving that on the 21 and 21 because all my threads are here at the shop and they're all organized. And maybe I'll show my organizational system. But when I finish something, I typically bring it all in and then refile it kind of as I go along. Maybe it's because I don't finish things as quickly as you do.
I don't know
Or
about that. Or
I
you're just more on top of it. I don't know.
could be, but I
Take
am.
pictures because I had to take pictures of what I found, which I think I sent to you, didn't I?
I think I
Oh
heard
yeah.
about it,
So
but
so I actually do have pictures, but anyway.
give photo proof. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. So, well, is that all I mean, so in fairness, we both have been working on more than just those, but we decided that's what we were going to talk about.
Yeah,
This
that's like the majority of what we've been working on. We have a little sidelines things we've started maybe on that little challenge and haven't finished it or whatever. But we thought it was important just to like talk about what we've been doing. Hopefully, you all are working along, but we all need some motivation sometimes to get some stuff done.
Yeah, is this what we're going to reveal with the prize?
Drum roll, please. So, should we
No,
talk about the boring stuff
Thank you.
first, like what you have to do to be eligible to win the prizes?
Well,
So,
yes, I do think
so
you do.
I started a hashtag, and I think I'm the only one that's used it. So I'd love some company in my hashtagging. Is that a word?
Sorry.
So hashtag PIO for pointing it out, of course, 21 in 21 is the hashtag that I've been using. So everyone needs to kind of plant that away. We'll put that in our little show notes and put that on Instagram and stuff too. So as you complete your challenges, post your picture and with the hashtag 21, pointing it out, PIO 21 and 21. And at the end of it, you should have 21 different photos you've
Okay,
hashed.
21 posts with 21.
Right. And no double dipping. We talked about that earlier, right? No double dipping. And when you have all 21, you've posted them all on Instagram and hashtagged PIO 21 and 21. Just send the Pointing It Out podcast DM saying, hi, it's Susie Smith, and I've finished, and please enter me in the prize drawing, something along those lines. The exact wording is not
Right.
necessarily anything.
But in addition to having 21 hashtags, you also have to follow the Instagram page, right? All
The
three of
Find
them.
It Out podcast on Instagram.
Yes, Wolf of Floss and STL Needlepoint.
Yes. So all three.
And
Be
a subscriber on YouTube.
Yes, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because then that tells you when our next episodes come up. So we usually remind you that at the end, but here's your built-in reminder if you want to be eligible for the prizes. And we will have a lot of consolation prizes, and the prizes will be a drawing, because we hope we'll have like 4 or 5 prizes. We don't know how many we're going to have. We're working on the.
I thought you were going to say 4 or 5 people that completed. I was like, oh God.
We're hoping we'll have more than 4 or 5. We're going to have 4 or 5 prizes. So therefore the prizes are going to be a drawing, but in order to be eligible for the drawing, you've got to do this. So we are still, our consolation prizes are a work in process, but I think many of you might recognize the shape on this box. So this is Stella tabletop lamp. So this is a $229 value. I sound like Vanna White. Too bad I don't look like her. So this is our, excuse me, Big Kahuna grand prize.
And I was a naysayer of the Stella. I'm like, oh, yes, it's fine. It's expensive. I'm obsessed with my Stella light. Can I win it?
Sure. No, I don't think we apply. Yeah. But I can sell you one if you want.
Okay. And I can also order it for myself, because I can sell them also. And that's a note though. Somebody came in the shop the other day and they said, I want one of those Stella lights. I have it in my Amazon cart. And I was like, well, you could order it for me, this tiny little shop owner over here. And she said, really? Yes, we can
drop ship directly to wherever. Like that was a local customer, but anyone who's not local to us, we just call them up. They literally, they put it in the mail the next day.
So if you're dying to have one and you can't wait until the end of the year, what you should do is get the floor lamp, because that's the one I'm obsessed with. And then, because I'm dying now to have the extra one, which is pathetic, but true.
I have the floor one at home and the tabletop one at the cottage.
I know you do. I wish I had a second home for my second Stella light, but I would just like it in a different spot in my house.
Although they are technically lightweight enough, it's very easy to move them around.
So this was not meant to be a commercial for the Stella light. What this was meant to be was a motivational.
But they were very generous to donate the Stella light. So they do get a little cred.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I did not mention that, but yes. So thank you, Stella, for the grand prize.
We might even try. I might even see if Nathan would come on the podcast at some point. I think
that'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll table that one, but that could be
a good idea. See, you guys, Melissa and I always worry that maybe we're going to run out of fodder, but I don't think we will. There's always something to talk about.
For sure.
Okay, well, I think that covers it. Does it not?
It does for now, but I think we should revisit this in like 2 or 3 months so that we can keep each other on task, because
I love it.
These challenges are fun for us too. It's not just, the whole bottom line is I guess we do almost all of this for us, and we just hope that other people enjoy it too. So
I agree. I love it. It's fun. So
okay, well, we don't have to tell people to subscribe, because now they've got a big reason to subscribe. So.
That's right. Subscribe if you haven't, but yeah, you should.
Okay, good to see you. If I don't see you before Saturday night, maybe I'll see you Saturday night. You never know.
Stitching with a bestie. We need to document it. That's for sure.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet. Remind us both next time.
But I always look a little gnarly, but whatever.
We're usually in our PJs and have washed our faces already. Maybe we'll have to have a special stitching with a bestie session, just where we won't scare people, since we have to
screenshot edition.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, nice to talk to you. This was fun.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.